Hey, my name is Taemin Kwon. I choose the topic 1, global carbon dioxide emissions. So, let's see the graph. As you can see the graph, carbon dioxide is the most important because it causes about 67% more warming than all the other greenhouse gases combined. It causes the earth warmed up. As a result, it causes climate change of the world. And let's first look at carbon dioxide in more detail, since it's the biggest slice of the pie above. So globally, about 80% of carbon dioxide comes from burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. It indicates that we use the car very highly and we use petroleum fuels. Then what country is the most released the carbon dioxide? As you can see the graph, United States are the most emission country. Because they are very powerful country, politically and economically and militarily. So they have many munition factories and other factories too. If we continue to emit the carbon dioxide, our earth will be burned. So we have to decrease emissions of carbon dioxide to protect environment. Thank you.
Well.
Hi, my name is Choi Myung-jun. I'd like to talk today about topic 2, transportation. This is my presentation's index. First, I told you problem in the topic. Second, cause and effect. And last, I tell you the solution. Session 1, problem in the topic. Look at this graph. This graph shows carbon dioxide emissions. If you look at this increasing trend, you can see that amount of CO2 is increasing rapidly. So the problem is increasing of CO2. Session 2, cause and effect. First, I tell you cause. I think cause is transportation, because many cars emit CO2. This graph is quantity of cars in the Korean Republic. We can know the amount of cars. Quantity of cars increasing. So the CO2 maybe will be a lot of CO2 can be. Next, I tell you effect. If CO2 will increase, I think it maybe global warming is go to serious. Session 3, solutions. First, countries maybe make a law. It can limit CO2 emissions. Example, the factory can limit CO2. Second, people is us. We must use public transportation. Thank you.
Hi, my name is So Myung Che. Nice to meet you. Today, what I want to present is about Earth's climate problem. So, I make a public like this step. First, why the Earth has fever? Because of greenhouse gases, it makes Earth's temperatures go up. Especially carbon dioxide gases are so abundant that it affects four sections like this. Now we see this figure. This is the global CO2 emission. As you can see, the largest amount of CO2 emission is from USA. Why USA emits so much CO2 gases? I think the reason is transportation, like car, train, airplane, etc. How about China? China is the second largest CO2 emission and the largest population. Although a person emits a little amount of CO2, the sum of all CO2 is very large. However, Russia is very little population. It is the third largest amount of CO2 emission nation. Why? I think this nation's reason is so cold that Russians use lots of wood stoves, so they emit lots of CO2 gases. This is the reference, and let's save the Earth by reducing CO2 emission. Thank you.
Just use, Kunyan, just use whatever viewer there is. There's no time for your view.
다 접었대.
Somebody know this program?
Start? Hi, my name is Jung Tae-yang. Today I want to talk about topic number 1, global carbon dioxide emission. Look at this graph. As you can see in the graph, look at this graph. It was made in 2008. As you can see in the graph, United States released the largest carbon dioxide, and China was second, and our country, Korea, is ninth. In the graph, we can deduce more developed and population, more CO2 emission. But look at this graph. This is China and this is USA. Look at this graph. This graph predicts that China will be the best carbon dioxide emission country in the future, and its growth will be bigger. I agree with this prediction because I think China is developing itself very, very fast, and it has the biggest population, so it will emit more and more carbon dioxide than 2008. Look at this graph. This is Korea and USA, and this is China. It shows global carbon dioxide emission per one person. We can see Korea emits more carbon dioxide than China per one person. So it says our carbon footprint is very big. So we have to try to reduce carbon dioxide emission. Thank you for listening my presentation.
Hi, I'm Haejung. I would like to talk to you today about sea level rising and climate change. This map is related to sea level rise. This is world map, and this is Southeast Asia map. You can see the red line. This line means sea level rising higher than several years ago. If sea level rising continue, this is happening in Northern Europe. Right picture is 80 meters higher. I focus on Venice. Have you ever been there before? If you say no, you should visit there before sea level rises more and more. This happened in 2008. The sea level in Venice raised 1.6 meters. So the worst flood happened. The San Marco Piazza, one of major attractions, was flooded 80 centimeters. Most cultural heritage was flooded too. If sea level rises higher more than today, beautiful cultural heritage of Venice will disappear. How about Korea? As you can see in this map, if sea level rises 1 meter, red dot means that sea level rise from 90 to 100%, and green dot that sea level rises from 3 to 10%. Today, we didn't have large disaster like Venice, but people who live in fishing village lost their place of life more and more. Why did things like this happen? Climate change may cause ice in the north and south poles to melt. The melted ice will cause sea level rising. Then, why is this ice melting? Greenhouse gases are emitted and these make Earth hot. Then ice in the poles is melting and melting. This is the end of my presentation. Thanks for listening.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jiyeon and I'm going to talk about global carbon dioxide emission. Carbon footprint includes not only mankind's activity, but also the whole amount of carbon dioxide generating directly or indirectly in product making process. Products, services, and mankind's activities that consume products may make carbon footprints as people make footprint on the road. If you look at picture on the left, you can see top 5 countries that make the largest carbon footprint: China, United States, Russia, India, and Japan. As you can see in the chart, there is little difference in ranking between 2008 and 2009. There is a difference between Russia and India only. This means that CO2 is emitted a lot by almost the same countries each year. But these 5 countries are not same at all. Please look at the figure on the screen. This figure shows a percentage changes in 2009 against 2008. Some countries have plus figure and some countries have a minus figure. We may have questions about this material. First, both China and United States are emitted many CO2 each year. Why CO2 emission increases in China and why CO2 emission decreases in United States? Secondly, what is the difference between plus change and minus change? There is slightly increasing trend of CO2 emission on the left, and there is a slightly decreasing trend on the right. It means that China keeps development policy without any concern of environment. Imprudent emission of CO2 causes many side effects, so we must decrease CO2 emissions steadily like United States. Then, what makes difference between increase and decrease of CO2 emission? I think the answer is difference of pursuit. Some countries want to develop much more.